Welcome back everyone, Patrick here, and moving on to the next example, we got this limit to solve here. So we got the limit as x approaches negative infinity of 2x to the power 3 times 3 minus 4 times the third root of x all over 7x cubed minus 5x squared plus 6x plus 2. So notice this is a limit at infinity question. Hopefully you went through all the videos in the lecture videos because I go through a bunch of these examples and they get pretty complex, a lot more complex than this one over here. So a couple of different ways to do this. So you can distribute this here, and with limits at infinity, what do you want to do? You always want to divide all the terms by x to the power of the highest exponent in the denominator. And notice that the highest exponent in the denominator is this x to the power 3. So we can divide everything by x to the power 3. Now you don't necessarily have to distribute at this point. You can actually just take everything and divide by x to the 3. And then this whole thing is one expression, so you can divide that entire expression by x to the power 3. And then these x to the power 3's would cancel out. So what you would end up with is these cancel out. So you'd have 2, 3 minus 4 third root of x. Now this third root of x, that's the same as x to the power 1 over 3. So that's another way that this expression could have been written. And then at the bottom here, notice x cubed over x cubed, that cancels out. Minus 5, x squared over x cubed is just x left at the bottom, 1x at the top, 3x at the bottom means there's 2 x's left at the bottom, and then this just stays as is. And now it's easy to do a direct substitution because we know that whenever we got a constant over x to the power of something and we're going towards infinity or negative infinity, we know that these values, they're just going to go towards 0. Okay, so we would end up with the limit as x approaches negative infinity, or you know what, let's just sub in negative infinity at this point. So what would happen is we would end up with 2 times 3 minus 4 times the third root of negative infinity all over 7. Okay, now what's going to happen here? So notice that the third root of a very large negative number, negative infinity, is still just going to be a very large negative number. Right? Does that make sense? The third root of a large negative number, the third root of negative infinity, is still just going to be negative infinity. The third root of a negative number, or an odd root of a negative number, is still going to stay a negative number. And this is going to be all over 7. So what we would end up having here is 2 times 3 plus 4. Right? Because notice this negative turn into a positive. So notice we're going to end up with all of this, 4 times a very large number, plus 3, still a very large number, times 2, an even larger number over 7, we would end up getting positive infinity. So that's the answer to this limit. Right, so that's one way to do it. Another way that this limit could be shown, the work for it could be shown, is instead of dividing by x to the power 3 right away, what you can do as well is, because we already have this x to the power 3 factored out at the top, what we can do is factor out an x to the power 3 at the bottom as well. So we'd have 2x to the 3, 3 minus 4 times the third root of x, all over, if we factor out an x to the 3, we'd end up with 7 minus 5 over x plus 6 over x squared plus 2 over x to the 3. And then these two cancel out. And we're just left with that original expression that we had when we divided everything by x to the power 3. So that's another way to show it. Then you would just follow the other steps that we went through. So whichever way you do it, positive infinity is the final answer.